All right, looking ahead to next week, Damanick, do you see Bitcoin breaking the 50,000 resistance level? And you touched upon this about the options expiry. What kind of puts, what kind of calls, and at what strike prices are people positioning themselves? And does that indicate a more bullish sentiment or a bearish sentiment?
It indicates a more bullish sentiment. So we have about 200 million of Bitcoin coming up for expiry next week on Friday. Calls outweigh the puts, and the most active strike is at 50K resistance level. So there's been a lot of optimism within the options market around that level, but it depends on the expiry price, and whether or not those folks will be into profit at the expiration date. So we'll see. I think a lot of today's market wrap just shows a lot of the uncertainty that's embedded in the market. Even though you have the calls outweighing the puts, we've been seeing the volatility come back down. There's been a range-bound price movement. So there seems to be some pent-up, sort of buying and selling stalemate in a way. So we'll see. I think we'll continue to consolidate here, and the bias is towards the upside, and pullbacks seem to be well supported. So the 50K level, everyone's on watch for that on Friday.
Mm-hmm. And any regulatory headwinds? We're reading that the U.S. Treasury Department is preparing a report on stablecoins and their potential risks to the financial system for a presidential working group. And Texas and New Jersey are piling on crypto lender Celsius. The company is being hit with 2 securities actions in one day to cease and desist their yield product, which allows users to earn interest on crypto deposits. Will this inject volatility into the crypto markets at all?
I think so. That's been an ongoing theme, and every time I write the market wrap, there's some type of regulatory announcement to cover. And you speak to analysts.
There's also China, which you've written about.
There's China too. Yeah, exactly. It's all around the world. It's not just a U.S. problem. And anytime I speak to analysts who are slightly bullish, they always talk about the regulatory headwinds that keeps them from positioning a little bit more across their crypto portfolio. So I think that's a headwind in itself. And when you talked about institutional players earlier, we've got advisors, institutions come in all shapes and sizes, hedge funds. And a lot of these folks have a fiduciary duty to their clients. And, they have to sort of safeguard themselves about compliance risk. And one of those risks is regulatory risk. And I think that keeps the sort of schedule down the line in terms of ETF approvals and all this stuff. So there's a lot to be worked on the regulatory level, and we'll keep watch on that.
Damanick, I've been reading a lot about Evergrande, the embattled Chinese developer, and how that might have an impact on the crypto markets. I wonder if you could touch a bit upon that.
So I noticed Tether said that they are not exposed to Evergrande bonds, and there's been some debate over whether or not money has been flowing into that via crypto. I'm not too sure, and I think that's it has caused some of the weakness in Chinese equities. So it's caused some sort of a risk-off move. But there are various reasons for risk-off moves across traditional markets, and we've been watching that closely. I don't think that's a big headwind for now. But it's something I'm watching closely just from a broader risk-on, risk-off perspective. We don't want the spillovers to occur in the debt markets.
And quickly, just 30 seconds, George, anything that you're monitoring you want to mention for next week?
Yeah, I'm not much of a price guy, but I actually am going to be looking at the price. It's been kind of boring, just kind of floating around this band. But I also am keeping my eye out on the exchange outflows, right? If we're talking about these big institutional buyers, are they doing it? And if there's exchange outflows, are they putting it somewhere in cold storage for a long time? So that's what I'm looking out for.